Good morning, everybody. This is Leah Dixon on the very wet West Coast today from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. And I am super excited to be here with my first of 5 weekly Christmas card classes for you. I sat down with my calendar to plan out Christmas card classes and have people over to my newly cleaned up office and realize that between children's birthdays and Halloween and grad activities and grad photos and craft fairs, that just was not going to happen. So this was my solution, is I am offering 5 free with a purchase Christmas card classes. So basically, I'm going to show you 3 cards today, and then with a $50 or more purchase, you will get the make and take pack to create these cards. You'll get 2 each of the 3 different designs. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you've got this stamp set and all the things, grab them and craft along with me. If not, then start making your wish list and place that order to get these make and take kits for free. So I'm going to switch over so you just have a big view of my desktop and we'll get started. As you pop on, if you want to say hi, I'd love to know who's here and crafting with me. All right, so what you will need to complete these cards is the Sweet Candy Canes bundle. So it's this beautiful stamp set, great sentiments for the fronts of the cards, and then great ones for inside the card as well. And then a die set that comes with the candy canes and a label, 2 little things for the mistletoe, and a whole other full-size die cut of the candy cane stripes. So it is fantastic. I'm just going to set that off to the side for right now. Get it ready to use though. And I'll show you when you place your order and get your card kit exactly what you'll get. So yours will be in an envelope, not in a plastic sleeve. But what you're going to get is 2 sets of everything. So you'll get all your supplies for the 1 card in one of the envelopes plus an extra envelope to go with it. You'll get your second design, everything in one with your extra envelope, and then your third design, everything in one envelope with the extra envelope to go with it. And so you've got all your paper bits here to go with this card class. Good morning, Jamie. Oh, I missed stamping with you guys. I didn't get to go to the retreat this year, and I hope you guys had so much fun. So here we go. I am going to get started on our first card. So I'm going to show you what we're going to create. It is this beautiful card, and so I'm only going to create one of them today, but I'll show you. So you'd open up your packet, and all your bits that get embossed and everything are already embossed for you. The only thing you're going to need is like to do your own die cutting of your candy cane and stuff. So I'm going to grab one of these card bases. We're going to get one of our pool party pieces with the pine trees on it. We're going to get one of our circles already embossed. I'm going to get one piece of paper to stamp a candy cane on, one piece of paper for our sentiment. And I'm going to pop the rest of this back in an envelope. There we go. You didn't go either. Oh no, Jamie. I know, I missed it so much. It's been a crazy year. I could not fit it into this year. But I was so sad to not be able to do it. All right, so we're going to start by gluing down these embossed layers to each other. So I love using liquid glue, so that's what I'm going to use today. And actually, I'm going to grab my bone folder and just actually find sometimes when you've embossed them, then they actually really need the bone folder to close up again. There we go. All right, so I've got my bone folder there. I'm going to take this piece this is the Wintry 3D embossing folder. You actually get the snowflakes and the pine needles, 2 mini folders. So we've got those, and we're just going to glue these down. So I just like a thin layer of glue right around the edges. And I love this one because you don't really have to line it up. As long as you actually get it to stay on your card front, not falling off the edges. There we go. We just put it right on an angle. And then our snowflake circle, this is from the Stylish Shape dies. And so that'll come pre-cut and pre-embossed for you. I just want to put it down so that those snowflakes will show nicely. I think that'll be the best way. There we go. And then we just pop that down kind of halfway down the card front. There we go. Good morning, Norma. Thanks for joining. All right, so that's the beginning of our card. I'm going to put away my glue for a moment and do some stamping. So I am using Memento Black for my sentiment. And so you're going to need to have your own inks. And if you're on my newsletter, I did actually send out an email, and it tells you what bundle you would need to complete this. If you want to make it exactly like mine, you of course could use your own stamps, own sentiments, and also what inks I used. So there's our Merry and Bright in Memento Black. Pop that off to the side now. And I used Sweet Sorbet for my candy cane. Now you do want to make sure. Oh, bonjour. Ça dit Facebook user. Peut-être tu peux être ton nom dans le oh mon Dieu, the box. J'ai oublié le mot pour, boîte, dans la boîte. All right, so you have 2 candy canes, so just make sure that you're using the one that goes the way you'd like it to go. All right, so here we go. Step that in, Sweet Sorbet. So just tap it lightly. You don't, I don't know, my Sweet Sorbet can be quite juicy, so just stamp it lightly, and then there we go. Beautiful. So we have a lovely red and white candy cane now, and this is one of my favorite reds. It's not quite pink, but it has that little bit of a pink tone to it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There we go. Now, technically with this die set, you do need to have the big machine because you're not going to be able to fit that awesome candy cane stripe one through the mini. But I use my mini for as many things as I actually can. And I only pull out the big guy when I need to. All right. So we're going to line that up. It's a pretty easy lineup, although I should probably stand up to do it, so I actually get it lined up. There we go. Oops, it's wanting to wiggle today. So you can use washi tape to hold it in place. I'm just going to hope for the best. There we go. Looks good. All right, so we're going to roll that through. Oh, hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining. All right, there we go. So we've got our candy cane all cut out. Now, if you don't have the dies, honestly, it's not the end of the world because you could fussy cut these, but I love the smooth rounded edge across the top of this by having it die cut instead of fussy cut, because I am going to fussy cut my sentiment, but I'm just not, I don't think I'm good enough to get that perfect rounded top on the candy cane. All right, so our sentiment, though, we are going to fussy cut. I like to leave just like, I don't know, it's probably about 1/8 of an inch border. So nothing too big, but also not right in tight. Okay, and we just roll our scissors along, and you just let the paper kind of twist and turn as you're slowly closing your scissors. Oops, there we go. All right, so I hope you all are having a great day so far. It is another wet one here, although the kids got a little bit of a break when it was time to walk to school. It was just damp out, not raining, so that's good. But it is a good day to stay inside with a warm drink and do some crafting, especially since Christmas is getting very near for crafters, at least. I have 3 craft fairs that I'll be at in November, plus some other little like shopping nights and stuff. So lots going on. Cold in Prince George. Yeah, it's good though. I'm so glad that we're finally getting the cooler weather. And I was reading an article last night that the rain has allowed the salmon to start to come back. So thank goodness for that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to grab some elegant trim. And so this is the silver and gold like cord basically that we have in our catalog. It's called the Simply Elegant Trim. And we are going to wrap this around and tie a bow. So I'm just going to trim off a little section here. Oops, there we go. All right, and I'm tying it around my candy cane. Technically, it doesn't even have to be a bow, but I just wanted that little something behind everything. And so I like tying it onto things on my card because then it can't slip off. It can't fall off if my adhesive fails me for some reason, because we get pretty damp here and then adhesives sometimes don't keep their hold. This is going to make sure that nothing happens. I think that's one of the big reasons I use liquid glue as well, is because I find other adhesives, although they're great, don't always withstand our damp weather here, and liquid glue always does. There we go. All right, so I've got that on there, and we're going to pop our candy cane on with some dimensionals. So I think I have a pack here. I do. There we go. I'm just going to put a dimensional at the top of my candy cane, one right near that bow, and one at the bottom of my candy cane. And I'm going to pull those off. There we go. All right. And so this I'm going to put on a little bit of an angle, just like that. And then our Merry and Bright, I'm going to pop on here. And I'm going to do the craziest thing. I'm going to double down on mini dimensionals on it. So I'm going to use one dimensional right in the big spot behind the T and the H, and that's going to go onto my candy cane. But that means that to keep everything else level and not have my sentiment all curvy, I need to double up on my dimensional. So I'm going to put one in the next big spot that will hold a mini dimensional, peel the backing off of it, and put a second one underneath it. And I'm going to do the same down here at the end. I'm going to put one down, peel the backing off, and stick another one on. So they're double deep down here. Janine, if you're watching this, or probably watching the replay because you're at work today, don't laugh. I know, I like my dimensionals. There we go. So now I'm going to just make sure, I'm going to use the bricks to kind of help me keep this straight and line it up. And I'm putting it right over top of the knot on my little bow that I had created. All right. And so now that puts our sentiment straight and everything else kind of on an angle. And then the final thing to decorate this card is a few little red rhinestones. Now, I actually have a little bit of a, I don't know, like a little special or something going on. If you do place an order to grab this card kit and it's over $70, I will actually send you a package of these red rhinestones as a thank you gift in the mail with your card kit. All right. So I'm going to pop one up there. One down here. I saw the funniest post the other day about how do you take your dimensionals off, or your embellishments off of their backings. Do you just kind of grab them willy-nilly, or do you stay very organized? You can see how I like to take mine off. It bothers me to kind of just take them from anywhere. All right, set those off to the side because we'll need them again. So that's our first card, all complete. And so I'll put it off to the side. and we can get started on our second card in this card class. Oh, thank you so much, Nancy. Yeah, I absolutely adore these colors. Just one of my favorite color combos. All right, our next card is just a really peaceful, really peaceful card. So again, you have all the stuff to make two in your envelopes. So I'm just going to go through here and grab what we need for one. So we need one card base, one piece of white, two strips of designer series paper. This is one of my favorite papers that is a carryover from last year's Christmas mini, and it made it into our catalog this year. And I want to call it Painted Christmas, but I'll just double check. Yeah. Oh, look at me. It's the Painted Christmas, and it just has some really beautiful watercolor painted Christmas patterns and pictures, lots of florals and berries. And I find it's just such a beautiful set of designer series papers. All right. So to create this card, we've got a soft succulent card base. Again, I'm going to grab my bone folder. And there we go. All right. And we're going to start by adhering our two pieces of designer series paper to the two ends. And we're just trying to leave kind of an equal border. And what that's going to allow for is then this piece, oops, which way? Nope. This piece should nestle in. Oh, maybe I cut it too big. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to go take a little trim off of here because mine's too big, and I'll modify my directions. So I guess too big is better than too small. So that I had cut at 3/4. I'm going to take another 1/4 inch off. Okay. So there we go. That's better. So I want it to nestle in here so that it leaves a little border between the designer series paper. So just like that. All right. So I need my liquid glue again. And we're going to just glue down the DSP for now. We're going to stamp on this piece of white. That way, if we make a mistake, we can flip it over. And if we make another mistake, we can cut a new piece because it, after all, is just basic white cardstock. All right. Because I'm going to show you a really fun way to use the mistletoe stamp. But it's not always perfect. Okay. Here we go. So those are glued on. I'm going to put that off to the side, and we're going to need this little circle. So you have a few choices. If you're just getting the things that are in the card kit, this is, again, just like on our last card, it's one of our stylish shape styles, one of the circles. And I believe it was the third smallest circle. And so if you don't have these dies, then you're going to very carefully with a pencil, so you don't leave marks on your circle, you're going to trace the outline of this. I, however, do have the dies, so I am going to put my dies on here, and then with a pencil, trying again not to leave pencil marks on my die, I'm actually not going to trace the outside, I'm going to trace the inside. Okay, so it doesn't matter that we can see that on our paper because it's going to get covered up by ink and by our die cut. So I'm just going to actually measure this for you. If you were trying to find something, if you had a 1.5 inch circle punch, that's the size of the inside of the die. So you could grab yourself a 1.5 inch punch and cut a circle and use that as your tracer. So however you want to get a circle on your page so that we can then use it as a guideline for our stamping. So now I'm going to use soft succulent to stamp our mistletoe leaves. And so I'm going to get this. And what I want to do, it's a tight fit at the top, which actually is good because it helps you keep things lined up. I want to just make sure that my leaves are just outside of my 1.5 inch circle. And then I come in on an angle. So it's not a really strong angle, just enough that the leaves don't overlap, but they are, you know, nestled in with each other. Okay, and we just keep going around our circle until we fit in our last piece of mistletoe. So there you have it. We've created a little wreath, and it looks a little funny when we can see those leaf tips, but our circle here is going to come in. Oh, I didn't actually stamp close enough. So that's where I was talking about if you mess it up. So I actually didn't stamp close enough in. I think I did actually have it touch my circle. So here we go. You guys get to watch it again a second time, which I don't know about you, but I find watching or doing things more than once is helpful for learning how. So we want to have our circle, and apparently I want it touching the circle, not just out from the circle. All right, live and learn. All right, so there we go, touching the circle. Oops. So I did make a few of these before I was happy with one. So you may find that you have to stamp yours a few times before you're happy with it. I do have that little overlap of the leaves, but that's okay. I'll just put some berries there and it'll all be fine. So now, there we go, much better. When I put that circle down, it covers up those insides. Love it. All right. Oh, thanks, Stacy. Yeah, it's kind of a fun one. So now we're going to grab our soft succulent ink again and stamp Christmas cheer in our circle. I love stamping in circles because you don't actually have to stamp it straight. You can straighten your circle out after the fact. All right. So that is all of the stamping on this card. So it's the soft succulent for everything on this card. Now we get to put it all together. So I'm going to use some more of that elegant trim. This time though, I'm not going to wrap this around anything. I'm just going to tie a big floppy bow and put it right underneath my circle. So there we go. So a nice big length of cord so you can get a nice big floppy bow. Now, one thing about this trim is it doesn't like to stay tied. So when I put this down, I am going to put adhesive over top of it. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to put a mini glue dot on both sides of it. So I'm going to stick that into a mini glue dot to put it onto my card on an angle. There we go. And then I am also going to use my Take Your Pick tool, wherever it may be. Maybe oh, it's right beside me. And I'm going to put one on the top as well and kind of wrap it around. That's just going to really hold that in place so that it doesn't come undone, because it's a little bit of a slippery cord and it has the tendency to do that. All right, then our Christmas cheer, I want them 2-dimensionals on here, but I want them kind of like on diagonal. So I'm actually going to place them inside the circle because I know that's going to get covered up, and peel off the backings and put my Christmas cheer down like that. Once I have it lined up where I want it, I'm going to push it down, and those 2-dimensionals and that mini glue dot I threw in there are going to grab it and hold it in place. Okay, then I'm just going to trim the one end, and we are ready to attach this to our card front and embellish it. So I'm just going to glue this to our card front. So bring our card front back, put some glue on here. There we go. And center that between our two pieces of designer series paper. All right. And our final thing is to use some, well, actually, let's be honest, a lot of red rhinestones to put some bling on this card and make it a little festive. So I'm actually going to, you know what, I was going to do that to cover it up, but I feel like that actually draws more attention to it. So I'm going to keep with my original. I kept all of the berries, although I realized this is mistletoe, not holly, so technically it should be white, not red, but whichever. Kept all the berries kind of to the stems. You can do it however you would like. And yeah, just have fun with it. All right. Oops, that one stuck to my finger. Come on. There we go. If you've never used a take your pick tool before, it really is super handy for applying little bits like this. All right. A few more here. Come on. There's a spatula end as well, but I find this one's easier for actually getting them onto the card. The spatula works to get them off the backing, but the point is better for getting them on the card. All right. Actually, I think I'll do like that. And yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so lots of red around the outside just to make it a little festive. So now if you wanted to keep this really kind of soft and muted, you could also grab some pearls instead and put little white berries on there, and it would keep it even more kind of a calm, subdued Christmas card. So, you know, kind of take your pick and decide what kind of look you're going for. All right, so that's our second Christmas card. And the third card in the kit is right here, Candy Cane Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses. Oh, thank you, Lila. So we have a thick white card base, 2 pieces of basic white, 1 cut with those candy cane dies. And I did pre-cut them because I don't want to bring out my big machine today. And then we have a paper for stamping our candy canes, a pool party circle, a label, and something for our mistletoe. All right, I'm going to put the rest of these off to the side. There we go. And let's start crafting. So the reason you have 2 pieces of white, you don't actually obviously need a white insert in our white card. The reason we have 2 whites is for actually adhering these candy cane stripes to our card and having a ribbon tied around it. If I wasn't tying a ribbon around it, I wouldn't have cared. But because I wanted to tie a ribbon around it, I needed some structure. Otherwise, tying a ribbon around this, it just kind of folds in on itself. So I have got this. I'm going to grab my mini glue dots, and we are going to glue dot the heck out of the back of this. So you could save yourself some time and cut this with an adhesive sheet backing. That would be really smart. Or you could do it the really messy way and use liquid glue, but even I am not brave enough to attempt that. So mini glue dots it is. And I basically do 3 per largest stripe. The little stripes don't get anything. But starting in the corner, I'm just doing 1, 2, 3. And I find that this holds enough of it down that you don't have parts flopping around. All right. There we go. Oh, come on. So If you're just popping in and didn't see the beginning of the video, this is card 3 of my 3-card Christmas card class. This is week 1 of 5 different card classes. And with a $50 purchase before shipping and taxes, I will actually send you 6 little make and take kits, so 2 each of the 3 designs in today's card class. And if you're on my mailing list, I have sent out already an email about this class with the details. But after today's class, I'll be sending out another email with the video link and everything as well. So if you're not on my mailing list, would like to know what you need to be able to complete this class, have the ordering link. The ordering link is in the description of this video, but it will also be in the email I send out later today. So if you wanted to join my email list on Facebook, there's a link on my website, stampingwithleah.ca. There's a link, or just fire off an email or a personal message to me and say, hey, I'd like to be added. I'll need your email address, of course, to do that. All right. So now we just attach, oops, no. We attach this to our basic white card base that we've got there. So now we have these candy cane stripes on a white base. And so it's got some sturdiness to it now, so that we'll be able to tie a ribbon around it. Okay, whew, that was hard. Well, not really hard, but it's always nerve-wracking to me to do stuff like that. Okay, next up is our, things are falling everywhere, our pool party base. I'm actually going to pop that onto here with dimensionals. And I'm going to do it right now before I do anything else. So I think I'll use, I don't know, like 3 on here. Doesn't need a ton. Just needs to hold in place. And kind of center it top to bottom, but put it more off to the right-hand side so we have space to tie our bow over here. Okay, next thing is to do some stamping. So we've got our little label, and this label die comes in the dies for the candy canes. And I've got the little sentiment, candy cane wishes and mistletoe kisses, that I'm going to stamp in black on here. Okay. Now, if you're the type of person who likes to kind of go over the top with your cards, you could also actually use black embossing powder and make this sentiment really pop out. I'm not. There we go. So that's done. Now I'm going to take our little leaves. I'm going to give them a little clean. I don't really have to because I'm just going into another green. But I am going to use garden green this time. The reason I'm using garden green is because then it will match with the ribbon that I have chosen. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these. There we go. Set that off to the side, and we'll die cut those in a moment. Then we've got paper for our candy canes. So we're going to put 2 different candy canes onto this card. So that's why I had both on the blocks. And so here we go. Ink one up, pop it on, and then grab my other one, ink it up, and pop it on. Now, hopefully I didn't put those too close together, and I will be able to die cut them both at the same time because there are 2 different die cuts for them, which is fantastic. So grab our plates, pop that down, and then look for the missing dies. Oh, there they are. Okay. So we've got 2 candy cane dies here. We'll pop those on. Oh, yay me, I put them far enough apart. Good. Okay. Make sure those are lined up. And roll that through. There we go. All right. So don't put my machine too far away because we now have 2 mistletoe to cut out. And then we can keep going. So I love this as well. Even though the mistletoes are not directional, they understand that you're going to probably want more than one. So they gave us 2 dies for our mistletoe as well. I'm so happy about that. I love it when they give us multiples of one so that we can be a little bit more efficient in our crafting. So here we go. Now this one has a little dot down at the bottom. So once you've got your leaves lined up, just take a peek and make sure you can see, make sure you can see the stem in that dot. And then you'll know that you have it truly lined up, not just sort of lined up. All right. 1 done, 2 done. There we go. So there are our mistletoe. Put these things off to the side. Put those back so I don't lose them. There we go. And we can put all of this together. So I've got this. I'm going to take my 2 candy canes and which way do I want them? No, this way. There we go. And I'm going to attach them just with mini glue dots. So I'm going to actually attach mine to each other first and then to my card base. So grab a mini glue dot, pop it onto my 1 candy cane. Okay. And then I like to do it on the circle so that I can kind of see the angle that it's at. There we go. And once I've got them attached to each other, I'm going to grab another mini glue dot. And that's all I'm using. I'm not really going crazy. And now I can make sure to line it up before I put it down. There. All right. Now our mistletoe we'll hold on to. Next up is our candy cane wishes. Now this is going to eventually get attached with dimensionals. But first of all, we are going to thread our ribbon through it. So this is the garden green. It comes in a 2-pack of garden green and real red. And so I'm basically just going to put that down, wrap that around, and let it come off the end a little bit so that I have enough to tie a bow as well. All right. So with that off the end, I'm going to bring the 2 ends together. I'm not worried right now about where my bow ends up being tied. So I'm just keeping them equal and finding a spot to tie a knot. And once my knot, well, not really a knot, but I've crisscrossed it, then I'm going to make my bunny ears and tie my bow. You could tie a knot as well if you wanted, but I'm not going to. I find it's a little bit of a thicker ribbon, so the less times you wrap it, the nicer your knot on your bow looks. Okay, so now that I've got that tied, I can kind of swing this around, get the bow where I want it, and then trim it. There. And there. I think I want it over just a little bit more. And then I'll bring my candy cane sentiment back in where I want it. And I'm going to put my dimensionals behind there now. If I can find them, there they are. So I'm going to take a dimensional, peel the backing off of both sides, and pop one under the top. And when I do this, I didn't adhere my candy canes at the top. I just did them in the center, if you'll recall. And that's so that I can kind of pull them up and put them over the top. Now that I've got that top one attached, I'll reposition all this, tuck it where I want it. I want that bow kind of going behind my candy cane. There we go. All right. And then, oh, come on, don't twist on me. And then I'll come back in and I'll put a second dimensional under the bottom once I've got all that positioned. There we go. All right. So now that's just holding everything in place. Fantastic. All right, now these little guys are going to go, actually, you know what? I'm going to put this onto my card base first. So I'm going to use liquid glue to do that. There we go. So we just had to wait to be able to get that, that ribbon all positioned. So this gets centered on our card front. Okay. And now we will use some mini glue dots to attach our mistletoe. So I had them. I am going blind. I had my, oh, they're there. My mini glue dots. So I'm going to grab a mini glue dot and my 2 pieces of mistletoe. I'm just going to, oops, and maybe I'll try putting this on here. I'm going to attach my 2 pieces of mistletoe to each other using a mini glue dot. And then I'm going to attach them to the tag using a mini glue dot. So just like that. Now, if you wanted to extra secure them, you could put a dimensional underneath the back, but I feel like those are pretty secure and I don't need to do that. I do have a little bit of adhesive showing here, which is fine though, because I'm going to put some red rhinestones on here, and and I'm actually going to put them over top of that adhesive. So there we go. So that won't be an issue on my card front having sticky bits. There we go. So just three little pieces there. That covers up the extra adhesives that was there and completes our card nicely. So that is our 3rd card in our Christmas card class. I hope you guys enjoyed these and are having some fun stamping along with me, or grab the make and take kit for these cards and have some fun stamping. When I send out the PDF to anybody who orders, I will attach the YouTube link to this video so that you can also go back and rewatch and craft along with me, or you'll have the printed instructions just to follow along and craft on your own at home. Well, thank you, Nancy and Norma. Thanks, Lila. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will be back again next week with another Christmas card class. Next week, I'm featuring the Christmas Scotties. So I'll send out an email about that early next week, and then I'll see you on Wednesday morning. Have a great day, everyone. Bye. Thanks, Nancy.